Welcome to High Strangeness, where we ask questions and explore all that is strange and unexpected in our reality.
Welcome to High Strangeness. I am Tony, your host. This is a place where we talk about all things strange and unexpected. And today I have with me my co-host, Bill Kearney. And today we're going to do another random strange episode. And that's where we tackle 3 to 4 different topics real quick. And we enjoy just our thoughts on it. And hopefully we're giving you guys something new that you haven't heard of before. So how are you doing, Bill? Doing good these days?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Just looking forward to the summer months ahead.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the nice weather, go camping, stay up in the mountains for a little while. But yeah, other than that, doing well.
Sounds good. Folks, just so you know, we're taping right now in June. This won't air till a little bit later, so you'll audience will see this or hear this in August or September. But this is, we're getting ready to do summer, and we're taking a break here from the podcast for a little bit, but episodes will have kept coming out every week. I am starting to look at topics and different things for the fall, and I'm excited because we've got some pretty cool things lined up, and in September and October we're going to dive into some very interesting things, all kinds of topics, and then we're going to go into those creepy things right around Halloween time, and we will even probably do a few segments around different haunts and things like that for those people who are interested in how people set up their haunted yards, and also these bigger companies that do these haunted attractions for people. So hopefully we'll get those interviews lined up, and it'll be fun. But as we move on, Halloween is one of my favorite times of the year. What's your favorite time of the year, Bill?
Halloween's like probably my second, but I really love Christmas. I really like Christmas a lot.
Yeah.
I get to spend it with my kids, my family. But Christmas and then Halloween, Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Love that time of the year, the whole time. And then you've got football and you've got things like that. It's really awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Go ahead. Goes by too fast, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
A fun time.
So in the spirit of creepy and scary, what is your favorite creepy show, movie, or Halloween character? Do you have anything that stands out in your mind?
Halloween character?
Yeah, like
movie?
Dracula or something like that.
I really never thought much about it. I'll watch anything, but if you put me on the spot, I would probably go with something like I like real horror movies, like ghost.
Yeah.
Ghost movies, not necessarily like Freddy Krueger or Jason, something like that, but something that's unknown, that can't be killed or defend against. Something that, something that you just have to try and get away from, but you can't beat it.
Yeah.
Like a ghost or a poltergeist. The Exorcist is a good movie.
Yeah, and creepy. Creepy as heck, too. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like those as well. I really like those. Over the years, didn't have an opportunity to watch them as much with the family, because a lot of the family didn't care for that, meaning my kids and wife. So we enjoyed things like Van Helsing, which is one of our favorite shows to watch every year, and also Dracula Untold. And so we like those kinds of things. But right now, one of the big things over the last few years that a lot of people have enjoyed is these movies about zombies, right? Zombies are like the big thing over the last 5 to 8 years. I've never been a real huge fan of the zombie movies. In fact, my favorite zombie movie, I don't know if you remember this, it was back in the 80s. It was called The Return of the Living Dead. And it was a kind of a quirky,
it was on
weird
TV the
film.
other day.
What's that?
It was on TV the other day.
Was it really? Yeah. I liked it because it was kind of funny.
My nephew, Sean, believes 100% this is going to happen. He sincerely believes. I mean, he collects guns like Dad used to. I mean, the guy's got it. He is convinced that there's going to be a zombie apocalypse.
Really? Like real or like people on drugs where they get like this? Real? He's thinking real?
I don't know. He thinks it's gonna. He thinks zombies are really gonna do. They're really gonna happen like the movies that happen in the movies. And I'm like, that ain't gonna happen. But he believes that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That would suck so bad.
Well, I'm curious. Maybe you didn't get into this with him. Did he talk about how he thought it was going to happen? Was it going to be a virus, or was it going to be,
No, he really didn't get into it.
Okay.
But no, he really didn't get into it. I just told him, I'm like, if it happens and I turn, man, you better shoot me, man. I ain't flipping. There's no way I would want to be one.
Yeah. No, me either. It doesn't seem like it would be a good thing. Well,
It would suck.
like I said, I never really got into it much, but right on the screen you can see AMC made a big deal.
The only thing I don't like about the zombie thing,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I don't like about zombie is that there's too many movies about it.
Right.
Like The Walking Dead right here, The Fear of the Walking Dead. Now, it's a good series, but it's just enough. It's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah. Did you get in?
Some
did
of
you
these are
watch
just
some of those
dragged out.
episodes? Did you get in?
I watched some of them, but like I said, it just got not really. It just kept same thing over and over again every week. Survive, don't get bitten. Best friend gets bitten, shoot best friend. I mean, it's just like enough's enough, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I couldn't take it anymore. Like a movie about it, yeah, I can handle. I can watch it, but not a series.
Yeah.
It just how many times can you tell the same thing over and over?
Well, and this Walking Dead series, there was like 11 seasons of it, if I remember correctly. Crazy.
Yeah, it was extremely popular show.
Yeah.
But I did not get into it. People laugh when I tell them I didn't get into this. When they talk about other stuff like Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get into all that. I couldn't tell you which one came out when. I mean, I know the main characters, Han Solo and Chewbacca, Darth Vader, but I was more of a Star Trek guy. I said I like Star Trek series more than Star Wars, but there's just some series that just don't sit well with me. A zombie series is one of them.
I'm with you. Never really got into it much. Cool effects, cool makeup, but that's about it. But there were a lot of people that loved it, like you're saying. I remember at work hearing people talking about the episodes, and I mean a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot, yeah. And I was like, I wonder what's going to happen. I'm like, he's going to get bit. It's like he either gets bit or he doesn't get bit.
Right.
If he doesn't get bit, he shoots people.
Yeah.
We go out, we hunt for food. I mean, it was the same. It's just repetitiveness over and over.
Yeah. Well, our first topic is actually along these lines. It's actually called the walking corpse syndrome. Have you ever heard of the walking corpse syndrome? Is this new to you? I mean, other than maybe you being aware of the topics. Well, I mean, it's real, and it's our first topic of today. So the walking corpse syndrome, which is also known as Cotard's syndrome, and that's after some neurologist who discovered this condition back in 1882. But it's a mental disorder where a person believes they are missing body parts, that they have lost their soul or are walking and dead. Is that crazy? I mean, they really believe this. It's a mental condition. Individuals with this disorder often avoid eating, drinking, any food and drink. They believe they don't really need to do anything because they don't feel like they exist anymore. And they stop doing all their normal day-to-day activities, but they often visit cemeteries in order to feel closer to the dead. What do you think about that? Different.
It's a tough subject for me right now.
Oh, yes.
Talking about the dead. So,
yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I know folks on the call here, Bill has had somebody close to him pass away recently. So, yes, sorry about that. These topics were set up way in advance, so didn't even think about that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. We're good. We can keep going. I just might not have a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, I've heard of this. I mean, I think every high school has a kid in it that dresses in black and roams the hallways and is mocked. I mean, we've had them in our high school when we were in high school, but they feel closer to the dead than they do the living.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they want death. Don't mean they want death. They just a sense of spirituality to the death.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But they're not looking like a zombie or they just, I don't know, it's kind of weird. They're just people who can relate better to the dead than the living.
Yeah. Well, let me talk a little bit about some of the other characteristics of this. These individuals, when they have this, a lot of times they neglect their personal hygiene and physical health. It is an extremely rare condition, but in rare reports, it occurs alongside other mental illnesses like schizophrenia or mood disorders. One of the most interesting cases involves a man identified only as Graham. After attempting suicide by taking an electric appliance into the bath with him, he awoke believing that he was actually brain dead. But he didn't die, and he was in the hospital. And according to the story, that he struggled there for a bit because they were trying to help him recover while he was in the hospital, but he really didn't believe he was actually alive. And here's the weird thing. He would keep telling the doctors that the medicine they were giving him just wouldn't do any good because he didn't have a brain anymore. He believed that he fried his brain by getting electrocuted when he was in the tub. And he was pretty firm about that. He believed it. This is a picture of him actually after he's recovered from this. So this is back in 2013, and you can read about it in some journals in the United Kingdom. But he had a brain scan, and the really weird thing medically is the doctors were kind of stunned because when they did a brain scan on him, his brain actually appeared on the scan like he was in a vegetative state. So like if they didn't know he was alive, they would have thought he was in a vegetative state, in a coma or something like that with very little brain activity. So not saying that there's truth to this condition, but it is weird that maybe it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe him believing this actually caused his brain to deactivate in some way, or that it just wasn't showing the normal impulses and life that you would expect to see in a normal brain. But as you can see through the picture there, good news is that in the years since then, with some psychotherapy and medications, portions of his brain have become more active, and he's out of that slump and living a very productive and normal life now. Interesting, isn't it? Like, what we find a lot of cases when we do some of these stories is we find that the brain is very powerful, that it has the ability to cause things to happen in our body because we believe them. And you hear that with healings and stuff like that, So I don't think we have tapped in yet in history or, in modern times in medicine to really understand how powerful the brain is through suggestion and other things and how it can control things. What are your feelings on the brain and how little we know about it, Bill? Have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think the brain can convince people of just about anything that it wants to.
Yeah.
Stuff that may or may not be real. I mean, it's a tricky part of the body that we fully don't understand. We only use how much % of it? Like,
yeah, 10, less,
very little.
Yeah,
that's probably for a reason. The Lord probably meant that to be for a reason we probably couldn't handle. But if you want something bad enough, I think you can convince yourself and your brain that it's true now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in just another way, we, for the audience, a funny thing that happened in one of our past episodes that Bill and I did, we had to cancel one of our episodes prior to shooting it because of something that happened. But when we were getting ready to shoot a recent episode, both you and I, Bill, thought we were having deja vu. So in our mind, we were so sure we actually ran through the episode and did it already. And as I went through and looked at all of our files and stuff, I realized we didn't. So yeah, the mind can make us believe and actually cause things to happen physically in some cases. So it's amazing how powerful the brain and the mind can be. All right. Are you ready to hit our next topic?
Yeah.
Did you have something else you wanted to say first?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to think of something over and over to convince yourself, like train your brain to make something happen?
I don't know. Not, I mean, other than like in school and stuff, trying to just pound something into my mind that I was learning. Is that what you mean, or are you meaning something else?
Yeah. Well, maybe something else, like something like an old memory, and then you see something on TV, like a commercial, and all of a sudden, bam. That'd be more like deja vu, but here's an example. Like one time I was thinking of a movie I haven't seen in like 30 years, right?
Yeah.
And I just kept focusing on it, right? And a couple days later, I see an advertisement that movie's on channel so-and-so. I was like, geez.
Almost like
thought about it.
The intention of your mind created it. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think there's some truth and reality to that. We really should talk about that one of these times, because I think there's a lot of people that believe it. There's a lot of business, what's the word I'm looking for? It's seminars and stuff that talk about the power of intention. Like if you want it, you focus on it, you believe on it, that it actually manifests itself. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I believe that I've done that a couple times. I like with different things, like a TV show or trying to find an old friend or trying whatever.
Yeah.
I just focus hard on it. I just like try and get inside there and just. And I whatever, and then like 2 days later, it's like, well, I'll be damned, man. I was just talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that I understand better what you're saying, yeah, I think there are definitely examples of that. I don't know. Maybe everybody goes through that, but it's interesting. If we could harness that, that's pretty powerful,
Oh, I would lose 20 pounds if I could harness it. Like, lose weight.
I hear you.
Without dieting.
Right. Body, you must lose weight. I like that. Okay. Are you ready to hop on to subject number 2? Subject number 2, this is, we're going to talk about a cryptid or beast. So there's a part of Alaska, and we're going to do an episode in the future that's going to talk about this a little bit, but it's they call it the Alaskan Bermuda Triangle. Yeah.
see
Or it's
programs
called
all
the
the time.
Alaskan Triangle, but they refer to it
Yep.
as the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy.
I watch programs
what was that?
all the time on this one.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I
Right?
watch programs all the time on this, on the History Channel, the National Geographic, and America Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah. And is it focused a lot
programs
on
all the
lost
time.
people and stuff like that?
Lost people, planes, but most, like, I think one of them was an animal,
Yeah.
but for the most part, it's just, and UFOs.
Yeah. Well, this cryptid beast animal is one that is believed to be right inside this section here. And so our topic today is called the Kushtaka of Alaska. Kushtaka. Half man, half otter creature that is kind of a folklore and a belief from some of the Native American people in that area. So let me read a little piece here. It says here, talking about the Bermuda or the Alaskan Triangle, on average, 5 out of every 1,000 people go missing in Alaska. That's a huge number. 5 out of every 1,000 people. According to the Los Angeles Times in 2005, there's nothing really supernatural going on. Or if there's nothing supernatural going on, it's a pretty high number. It's actually the highest number of any state in the United States for, per capita, for people that go missing per 1,000. And so, along with that, you just mentioned there are a number of reasons why things happen in that area, but some of the natives in that area attribute some of the missing people to the Kushtaka. And there you go, right on the screen. It's this strange-looking half and half beast that they believe exists up there. It's another rendition here, but it says here that Native American tribe that lives in the Juneau, Alaska area, that they have their own explanation for the high number of missing people, and it's attributed to the evil spirits called Kushtaka. So not only do they look like this, I guess they're embodied spirits of some kind. Have you ever heard of the Kushtaka?
Yeah.
I hadn't.
Never heard of it. But like I said, I watch a lot of programs, and I see the Alaska Triangle there all the time. And actually, did you know that more people since the 70s or early 70s to now have disappeared in that triangle than all of Bermuda? How many people do you think have been missing since the early 70s till now from the Alaska Triangle? How many? What number would you put?
I feel
Disappeared.
I feel like there was like a number like 1,600 or something like that. Is that right?
20,000.
That's crazy.
20,000.
That's like a stadium full of people.
20,000. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's a story that the Jerusalem Post wrote pertaining to the Alaska Triangle, a remote area near Juneau, Alaska. Estimated 20,000 people have disappeared since the early 70s, have vanished.
That's
With an annual disappearance rate of 2,250 per year. 2,250 people per year is the average. That's insane.
Yeah, how's that not more of a story? That's crazy. That is crazy. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading this right.
And you said you pulled it from where again, just so people can know where to reference it?
It's the Jerusalem Post.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for
I'll
sharing
send
that.
you the link, and then if you want to post it, on our page, we can do that.
Okay, sounds good. So, going back to the Kushtaka, another picture here. It says here that according to books such as In Search of the Kushtaka, Alaska's Other Bigfoot, the Kushtaka are believed to be shapeshifters, half man, half otter, who lure women and children into the water with fake cries in order to steal their human spirits and drown them. So, I mean, it definitely sounds kind of like a mystery, folklore type thing. But with the numbers of people that go missing, who knows? You know, maybe this is one of several things that are out there that are doing stuff. I don't know. Yeah, just more things I'm reading through the notes here, just saying, you know, about the high numbers of people that go missing, that this triangle runs from Anchorage in the south to Juneau and to a panhandle up by Barrow, which is at the very top of the state. It's crazy.
And some of that is completely remote area. Like, there are small villages in those parts, and the only time they get to go to the store at night is once a year. They live off the land a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy that, so just to digress for a minute, I have my son-in-law's brother is actually in Alaska right now, in the middle of nowhere. He is rebuilding a cabin for somebody. And about a month ago, he sent my son-in-law and me and some of us a video of noises he was hearing out in the woods, which some people call that wood knocking, which is a something that they say that Bigfoot does. They communicate in areas where they hit wooden trees, or, you know, with trees with these wooden sticks to make a sound. And so I had the video, and the noise was loud, like loud. And he I could hear him on the video just saying, "Man, what is this? Like, there's nobody out here. I am 30 miles away from anybody else." It was pretty strange. And so I had an opportunity, and it's in a past episode that's coming up here, to interview Daniel Perez, who's a Bigfoot investigator and the editor of the Bigfoot Times magazine out of California. And I shared that with him as well, and he was interested. He thought it was interesting, but of course needed more information. So anyway, I just bring that up.
You still have the sound?
I do, yeah. I can play it for you.
Let's hear it.
I don't have it with me right now to put it on the episode, but I can definitely find it. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And
does it have a rhythm like?
Yeah,
Morse
it was
code
very.
rhythm,
It was very.
boom, boom,
Yeah, it
boom?
was very organized. It would be like tat 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 tat, and then across the valley, it would repeat the same sound again. But it didn't sound like a stick. It sounded like something very heavy and big. I'm gonna have to play it for you. It's just really weird. So, anyway, it was interesting to have a Bigfoot investigator listen to it, talk about it. So, very interesting. But I think one of the strangest things about Alaska, like you were saying earlier, is how completely remote and really there's just vast spaces of nothing but forest. Anything could be up there, and we wouldn't even know because there's really nobody up there. So, it's crazy. All right. I'm not going up to those woods anytime soon, that's for sure.
Well, out where I'm at, when I move out there, I'm in a rural area where it's way open field, but not like that. But I still go outside at night. I don't wander too far.
Yeah.
You know, I try to stay within running distance to the house, just because it's intimidating out there.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, there's all kinds of animals out there, you know, coyotes and stuff like that, but nothing like. I mean, this guy looks like a fish man.
Yeah, this is a bizarre
looks like a
picture.
fish.
Definitely scary if you ran across something like that. Okay, we are getting to our next episode here, or should I say our next topic here. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put it up on the screen here in just a minute, but it is one of the things that really, truly freaks me out. I think there's certain things out there that are scary, and then there's other things that really kind of just make you very nervous when you think about the possibility of you being caught up in something like this. I'm going to share with you sinkholes. I think sinkholes are scary. Now, when we think of a sinkhole, most people think of something very small. But our topic here is the Guatemala sinkholes. And these things are massive. And we've got this picture here just to show you. This is like 60 to 100 feet deep. And these things just show up and they just happen. In Guatemala, this happened. This isn't a city, and it just swallowed up a building. And, it's massive. So I'll tell you a little bit about it real quick. In 2007, a 300-foot deep sinkhole swallowed up a dozen homes in Guatemala, killing 2 and causing thousands of residents to evacuate. The sinkhole was caused by heavy rain and a corroded underground sewerage system. Like, you're just standing there, or you're in your house, and now you're 300 feet down. What do you think about that? That's terrifying to me.
Well, I was just Googling that right now because I remember a couple of years ago a sinkhole taking a family. It was in a car in Tabiona.
Really?
It was a sinkhole that took the car with them. Yeah, they all, I think maybe one died. But I couldn't find that particular story, but I just put in sinkhole, Utah. And in March 10th, 2024, there was a sinkhole reported in East Provo.
Really?
Then there was a sinkhole reported in South Jordan on August 4th of last year. Massive sinkhole emerges on the road in South Jordan, August of last year. So,
yeah.
Another sinkhole opens up on a golf course, and that's on YouTube. These things pop up everywhere.
They do, and
you just never know. I don't think there's anywhere safe where large sinkhole in downtown Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Just
so
Google.
Where do you think is one of the
sinkhole,
biggest
and then put
spots?
your town or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think are one of the biggest places where they experience a lot of these in the United States? Have you heard?
I would probably say Louisiana maybe.
Really close.
New Orleans is what I would think.
It's actually in Florida. Can you believe that? That's crazy. But yeah, very close.
I was going with sea level. It was something.
Yeah.
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 I was going with sea level states, but.
So let me tell you a little bit about that. And I have another picture. So this is really just awful when you think about it. But
what's incredible is look how perfect it is, though.
Right.
Too.
Right.
It's not like it's just a big giant, not a hole, but like just caved in everywhere. That's a pretty solid round circle.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking 30 stories. You could drop a 30-story building in there. That's terrifying, man. Nobody survives if you fall.
How many people? I wonder for anybody. How many people was in it? Did they ever say, or is it?
Well, they
nighttime?
said so. It was for this particular one. It was a dozen homes. Only 2 people passed away. Fortunately, that were the only 2 people that were in the buildings at the time. So, but there were homes. So, fortunately, it wasn't like an office building or something, because it could have been a whole lot worse than that. So let me tell you a little bit about what some of the people in the general area said. Some of those residents said that they thought it was an earthquake when that sinkhole was forming. That it felt like it. They said the sound was really awkward and weird, and that's a lot of gravel ground to drop. So it had to be a weird sound. 30 stories, and then they said, here's another picture. 3 years later, there was another one that was 200 feet deep and 60 feet wide. This one consumed a 3-story building in the city. The hole had been developed gradually, but the terrain and the rain and mudslide during the tropical storm Agatha sped up the process. So this is just scary, man. You know, for some of the people listening, you remember this. This has just happened earlier this year where there were 2 or 3 homes in the Draper area that dropped off that cliff. So it wasn't a sinkhole, but it was another example of the ground failing. And fortunately, they were brand new homes. 2 of them fell, and then the third home, the person could see their home tilting and the foundation cracking, so they got out. So nobody got hurt, but 3 homes dropped right into the side of a mountain. It's crazy that this kind of thing can happen.
Yeah.
We trust the land we walk on,
You,
and then this happens. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Anytime you build anything on a mountainside, you risk something like that happen. But in a downtown major city, you don't expect something like this. I mean, what is that? Clay, sand? What is that? I can't.
I mean, it just.
I mean, what's it built on?
I don't know. I mean,
It looks like it's like clay or sand or dirt. It just what you just gotta be careful what you're building on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think a lot of people know this, but I mean, when you think of even some of our major cities, like a good portion of New York City is built on trash. It's built on just compacted trash, and it's crazy that we build on some of these things.
Well, New York City's got a city under the city. I mean, with all the tunnels that they have that they don't even use anymore from back in the 1800s.
Yeah.
I bet you if you were just to skin, it'd be interesting to see what's really under there.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually that's just going to cave. I mean, it's like pressure. It can only handle so much weight.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because around the time that this episode is going to launch, there will be another episode that I did where I interviewed a person from the Oso mudslide in Washington State in 2014. I just got done interviewing him last week, and his brother passed away. And this is where the side of a mountain slid down and basically destroyed a whole neighborhood, killing 43 people. So, people, if you get a chance, listen to that episode. It's a really good one, lots of good information, and I think by the time it airs, I'll have a little memorial video also kind of going through a slideshow of the events, the recovery, everything that happened around that time. It's a sad, very sad story. Okay, sinkholes, scary, just scary. All right, and so moving on to something a little more lighthearted in this episode, we've got Walking Dead. We've talked about the Kushtaka, and we've talked about giant sinkholes. And so moving to something lighthearted, we're going to talk about weird or strange structures and buildings. Now, I'm going to show you a picture here. Would you do a double take if you were driving down the highway and you saw this? Kind of crazy. A fish.
It reminds me of the picnic basket hotel that we saw.
That's right. We did that episode, didn't we?
Yeah, with the picnic basket. So this is no one. This looks like a fish.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's called the headquarters for the National Fisheries Development Board in Hyderabad, India. Let me show you another picture of this building. So it's actually a functional building. Go ahead.
Makes no sense building a building that looks like the name of your company. It's just stupid.
So this is a different picture. It's referred to the fish building, and it's impressive in daylight, but I have another picture that you're going to see in a minute with what they do to it at night so that it really stands out for people in the area. But look at it. I mean, it looks like a fun building, but imagine, the architect, the owner goes and says, "I want you to build me a fish, man. I need you to draw up plans for a fish." Crazy. Okay.
What would be name of company names that you would not build a building that looks like your company name?
I wouldn't do a toilet.
You understand what I'm saying? You understand?
Yeah. I don't know of any toilet
like
names.
Dick Sporting Goods.
Yeah. Yeah. There's got to be other ones like that too. I don't know.
I just think that's just weird to do that. I think that's just weird.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you're not going to see it in the United States. This is in India. So, folks, maybe somebody's seen it in person. I don't know. It is.
if any of our viewers know a building in your city or town, whatever, that is just weird, please take a picture and send it to us.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely want to know. Okay, I mentioned what it looks like in the evening, so let's take a picture. So this is what they do to it at night. They put this blue fluorescent type light on it, and yeah, it gives it this interesting glow for people that see it in the evening or drive on the highway. So it's a 4-story building. It was officially opened in April of 2012, and it was inspired by some monumental fish sculpture in Barcelona, which was completed in 1992. So somebody saw that original, that sculpture, and they just felt like they needed their building to look like this, I guess. Very interesting. Gonna move on to the next one. Anything else? I can just see you shaking your head there.
I just think it's the ugliest thing ever, man. Someone paid millions of dollars for that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just a waste of money.
It cannot be something that can be sold very easily, that's for sure. I mean, somebody might want it, but...
No, hell no.
Okay, let's...
That's where you need a sinkhole.
Yeah. I've got one more strange building. I want to know what your opinion is on this. You ready? This one is in the shape of a guitar. It's a guitar-shaped building in Nashville or Austin. I'm sorry. I'm reading my notes wrong. So, and it's not in Nashville or Austin, but it's actually in a place like Hollywood, Florida.
Okay. If it was in Nashville, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because that's country. That's where it all is. That I would get it. It would fit the culture.
Yeah.
But in Florida, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. So
I think it's not that bad looking. It's all glass. You know, at night, I bet you it's really pretty.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that bad. I mean, it's not that bad looking.
Yeah. I mean, if
there was a casino.
Picture. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's not that bad looking. I mean, at night, I bet you it's really lit up, but in Tennessee, it would make more sense, Nashville, but...
Yeah. So,
yeah.
It was opened in 2019. It's called the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. And it's 36 stories tall. So there you go. Yeah, casinos are kind of a event in themselves, so it does make sense to do something a little bit different. So this is a
stratosphere in Vegas is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's not in, Vegas or Atlantic City, but it's in somewhere like this, but it's still an attraction, I think, for people. Next picture, this is a picture inside, and, it's got 638 rooms and suites, so it's a pretty big building. It's got an entertainment center that holds up to 7,000 people, so they can have, work conventions or maybe even some concerts and stuff like that. This is an interesting picture in the part of the center of the building where there's like a waterfall coming down, and it looks like it'd be a fun place to kind of walk through, I think. I don't know. This is a picture of the entertainment center. So it looks like they can do concerts and different things like that. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
I go to Orlando and stuff every now and then, and maybe I'll see if I can see it next time I'm out there. So,
Yeah.
all right. Any thoughts about the Hard Rock? What was it called again? It was called the Hard Rock Hotel, Seminole Hard Rock Hotels. Anything before I move on?
No, it's an interesting,
Yeah.
but it works for me. I mean,
Yeah.
better than the fish.
That's for sure. Okay, so we are at the end of this episode. We started off talking eerie, and we ended up lighthearted. What was your favorite random strangeness story in this episode? Did you have one?
The triangle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Very mysterious.
there's so many possibilities, and the number of disappearance.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy. I've read it 3 times and I still came up with the same number. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, edit it.
Yeah. That's right.
Do
People.
a correction.
It's important for people to know that on this podcast, what we do is try to share with you things we've run across. We're not. We don't claim to be the expert at anything. We are really just bringing you information, and then hopefully you'll have been exposed to it and you're interested and take a look on your own. And if you find that we are off on anything here, we'd love to get that feedback. But once again, we do some research, but we don't. We're not super into spending time on this.
We're not that bright. Yeah, we're not that bright.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, I agree with you. I really liked actually all of the topics, but the one most intriguing is the Alaskan Triangle for me as well. But as we wrap up, Bill, we'll be talking again in a few months as we get some more of these episodes going again and other cool things. But until then, I know I'll see you and talk with you throughout the summer, but have a great summer. And I just want to let everybody know that as we end this episode, to keep your eyes, ears, and minds open, as there's a lot of strange and unexpected in our reality. So until next time, stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to High Strangeness. This was a glance at some of the strange that exists in our reality.